Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I am your host, Ravina Rastavan, aka the Realist Astrologer. And today I'm going to get a little personal in honor of Sagittarius season because I am a Sagittarius and I am a proud Sagittarius at that. So I'm going to read a blog post that I wrote back in November of 2015 that deals with some of the traits of being a Sagittarius and my personal experience being a Sag. So this blog post is entitled The Centaur Experience, 10 Signs That Show I Am a Sagittarius. Number 1. When I was a little child, I would fantasize that my bed was a train that would take me to far off destinations while I slept. Now, Sagittarius is the sign of long range travel, and it represents those modes of transportation that will take you long distances. So that includes trains. So as a child, I will have a hard time falling asleep, which is very Sagittarian because we never want to miss anything. So we're very restless. And when it comes time for bedtime for a Sagittarius child, we often don't want to go to sleep, or it's hard for us to go to sleep. So what I would do is I would lay in my bed and just fantasize that my bed was a train car and that while I slept, the train was taking me to some far off destination. So that's very Sagittarian. Number 2, I was at the top of my Bible school class as a child, even though I hated getting up early for church. Now, Sagittarius deals with religion, and I've always been into religion, even though I grew up in a very restrictive religion, and I hated that aspect of it. So I hated having to get up early for church. I grew up under the Seventh-day Adventist religion, so if you know anything about that, you'll know that it's very restrictive. There's all these rules, and basically your behavior is severely, or your freedom is severely curtailed in terms of your activities on Saturday. We had to go to church on Saturday instead of Sunday, which was a source of embarrassment for me. The Seventh-day Adventist Church adopts a lot of the Judaism values and tenets. So instead of going to church on Sunday, I had to go to church on Saturday. But even though I hated the restriction of the religion, I loved the Bible stories, and I loved to basically be at the top of my Bible school class. So I was always, getting the accolades and getting the recognition because I knew all the answers to the questions during Bible school. Number 3, I've always felt that I was supposed to be wealthy despite my humble beginnings. I bought my first Powerball lottery ticket on my 18th birthday. Now, Sagittarius is the sign of wealth. It's also the sign of making it big, making it rich. It's also the sign of the gambler. So I'm a natural gambler. I prefer lottery instead of the casino because I feel like the casino is just set up too much for you to lose. So I've been playing the lottery ever since I've been of legal age, and I bought my first Powerball ticket when I turned 18 on my 18th birthday. And I still have dreams of striking it rich through the lottery. I still play the lottery to this day, and it's still an aspiration of mine. So sue me for that, but hey, I'm a big dreamer, which all Sagittarians tend to be. Number 4, when in college, I would devour the religious and spirituality books in the university library on my downtime. I also took an intro to Bible course as an elective. So again, that supports the theme of Sagittarius ruling religion and spirituality. And I would just, on my downtime, I would go into the university library and I would just study a bunch of religious books. I was heavily into Kabbalah from an early age, way before it became popular in Hollywood. I was always into mysticism. I was into Islam, Sufism, Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism. I studied it all basically. And I did a lot of that on my downtime in college because, university libraries, they have like all the books that you can ask for. And I also took that intro to Bible course, which really widened my perspective on religion and the teachings of the Bible. And I bought this, I had to buy this Oxford Bible, and it was really good because it contained the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is a bunch of obscure hidden texts that have been left out of most Bibles. So that was a plus. Now, number 5. During one semester, I started my classes 2 weeks late, not realizing that the semester had begun. So this deals with Sagittarius being absent-minded and being a procrastinator, which I am to the fullest extent. I mean, the way I procrastinate is ridiculous. And then I often am in a tizzy when I'm close to a deadline, but then I'll make the excuse that, oh, well, I operate well under pressure, which I do, but I do tend to get really stressed out. So I need to, really combat the tendency to procrastinate. So yeah, I showed up to my classes 2 weeks late, not realizing that the semester had already begun. Also, number 6, during the same college semester, I only showed up to French class twice and still earned an A. So that deals with Sagittarius being able to pick up foreign languages very easily, which I am able to. Now, I'm not bilingual and I'm not fluent in any languages, but when it comes to foreign languages and dictation, or not dictation, but proper pronunciation, I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at imitating accents as well. So that's very Sagittarian. So yeah, I only showed up to French class twice. The second time was the day of the final. I made up some bullshit excuse of why I wasn't present. I think I said I was sick or something like that. Ended up acing the class. Number 7. In 1997, I spent time with my favorite celebrity after trying to meet him for 3 years. I was a serious fanatic back then. Mission accomplished. So Sagittarius deals with fanaticism, and I was definitely a fanatic when it came to this celebrity, and I made it my mission that I was going to meet this celebrity, and I actually did, and I had to go through all these steps, and basically I had to connect to all these people in the industry to make it happen, and I made it happen, and it was one of my milestones, and it's something that, while I'm not going to share who this celebrity is, just know that it was one of the highlights of my young adult life. So yeah. Number 8, in 2006, I relocated from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Phoenix, Arizona, even though I knew no one there and did not have a job. So again, Sagittarius deals with long distances, it deals with long range travel, and it can deal with relocation, long distances from your place of birth. So a lot of Sagittarians will relocate far from their place of birth at some point in their lifetime. If you don't, you might have a yearning to, or you just might feel out of place where you grew up. So if you deny that aspect about yourself, then you might just feel a void in your life, or you just might have this yearning to escape or just to travel a lot. So I basically accomplished my goal of moving to Arizona back in 2006. And Arizona is where I found my purpose. So that was definitely part of my destiny, moving a long distance from my place of birth. And when I did move, my family, they were really amazed that I had the courage to move somewhere where I didn't know anybody and I didn't have a job. Now, I was able to secure an apartment before I moved, but I was just going, basically dealing with a blank slate, but I pulled it off. So that's one of the admirable traits of Sagittarius, being able to pull off a major relocation like that. In 2009, I established my spiritual advising practice despite having a bachelor's and a master's degree in business administration. So Sagittarius is the sign of colleges and universities, and a lot of Sagittarians want to get college degrees. However, a lot of Sagittarians, like myself, lack direction in the early part of their life. So I went to college because I wanted to get a degree, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to be. So I started off being a science major. I started off majoring in biology. Then I switched to chemistry. Then when the calculus 2 kicked my ass, I determined that, okay, I'm not meant to be a chemist. So I transferred my major over to business at the advice of my counselor. So so I majored in business, minor in accounting, thinking I was going to be an accountant. So when I found that that wasn't my passion, I was like, okay, what do I do? So moving to Arizona, I found my purpose and I became a spiritual advisor. So that's very Sagittarian. and I can still use my business degrees for my business. Number 10, I value freedom so much that I've only been employed about 13 out of the 22 years of my adult life. Now, I wrote this back in 2015, and I've had a job in between that time, so you might as well say, I guess it's like 13 and a half years out of the 22 years of my adult life, because I prefer self-employment, mainly because I have a strong need for freedom, and Sagittarius is about freedom. So even though it could be a high-paying job, matter of fact, I had left a very well-paying job because I felt that my rights were being encroached upon, or I felt like I was not being respected. And Sagittarius is all about rights as well, rights of the individual. So when I felt like my rights weren't being respected, I left that job. And after I basically ran my boss on the floor in front of a bunch of people. So yeah, that's very Sagittarius too. I had to open up a can of verbal whoop ass on her because she just was disrespecting me, and I had had enough. So the longest I've been at any particular job has been 3 years. I just had this 3 year cutoff time frame where it's like, okay, I got to do something else. So ultimately, I'm not built for employment, especially long-term employment. I am geared towards entrepreneurship. I got Uranus on my midheaven, which supports that. But yeah, so most of my jobs have been either where I've been able to have a lot of freedom, or they've been short-lived, where some way somehow I'm given some freedom because of either extenuating circumstances that are not even within my control, or because it comes to a point where it's like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm suffocating, or I have to stand up for my rights. So that's how a lot of my jobs end up, where either something against my will causes me to be laid off, which happened with my last two recent jobs, or it'll be a situation where I feel like my rights are being trampled upon. I stand up for myself and I leave. So that's basically some personal information about myself. I hope you found this interesting. Now, I pulled two tarot cards dealing with my life as a Sagittarius. The first card deals with my strength as a Sagittarius. The second card deals with my weakness, tendencies that I need to overcome. So the first card is the Sun card. This deals with me being my own individual, me being in charge of my destiny, and also me really putting myself out there, having a confidence to achieve my goals, because the Sun brings confidence. The Sun in tarot is a very positive card. It's a card of self-actualization. It's a card of basically living according to your own will. So that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm always striving to do that. And the Sun is a card of success. It's also a card of popularity. It's also a card of attaining like a status where you have some type of expertise, which is what I try to embody as well. So I feel really good that I got the Sun card as my strength. And with that Sun card, I feel like so much is possible in terms of what I have yet to accomplish in my life. Now, the card that shows my weakness is Six of Swords. And this is so true, because the Six of Swords can be one of procrastination. It could be one of starting projects but not finishing them, not following through, not keeping promises, not keeping your word. So I do have a problem with that, and I am always trying to reduce these tendencies. The Six of Swords is also about not knowing how to delay gratification. I am a very indulgent person, and and that goes along with procrastination. So oftentimes I have an issue with delaying gratification, and I rather, experience some instant gratification and then, deal with work and responsibility later. So I definitely need to flip the script in that respect, and I am learning to be more disciplined and to learn how to delay gratification, because the bigger reward is after the work has been completed. So I need to keep that in mind. Also, one way that I can combat the Six of Swords tendency is that I can finish the book that I am currently working on. So I've started writing books in the past. I've actually started writing 3 books. One book I've actually written over 200 typewritten pages. but I've never finished it. The book that I'm currently working on now is an astrology book based off of planetary transits. So I plan on having that book completed in 2017, and I want to have it published by 2017 in the latter part of the year. So that's one way I could try to combat that Six of Swords tendency, by finishing what I started and by seeing this book through to completion. So wish me luck on that. So hopefully you found this interesting. If you would like a reading, you can go to my website. Just enter www.rabina.com into your search engine. And if you would like a reading, click order a reading up at the top. Peace and many blessings.